you with a Pledge of Allegiance, so if you don't mind standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. And our city recorder, Rory, is off today, but in her place is the fearless Charlie. And Charlie, will you go ahead and see who is here and who is not here?
Yes, Councilmember Robinson.
Here.
Micolash.
Here.
Brown.
Here.
Billings.
Here.
And Glover.
Here.
Okay, that is all of us present and accounted for. First up on the agenda, we have a report from the Unified Police Department, and to give that report is Chief April Morse. Welcome, Chief.
Good evening, Council. Thanks for having me here. So I do have some numbers, but I just want to preface it. It's awfully early in the month, so the numbers that I do have will likely increase. But just for the month of August, our officers responded on 2,471 calls, which resulted in 777 cases. And right now we're sitting at 231 citations for the month issued. But it was a busy month. An example of some work that I would like to highlight is our direct enforcement unit, our detectives. They had been actively trying to locate a gentleman with ties to Midvale. He was wanted for felony warrants on robbery, kidnapping, aggravated assault, witness tampering, and violation of a protective order. These detectives were able to locate that suspect. They initiated a high-risk stop, and the suspect fled on foot. The officers pursued him, and the suspect tried to climb up on a second-story balcony and enter the apartment building. Our officers were able to stop him. He met intimately our canine Drogo, who engaged him and stopped him from his actions. So we were able to take him into custody. These same detectives, they also obtained information about a distribution ring that was being held at the Park Inn. They were able to serve a search warrant and seize over 6,000 fentanyl pills. And $21,000 in U.S. currency was seized in that warrant as well. So during the month of August, we had 2 officers that were injured. One was injured with an injury to his bicep. Another was intentionally spit on by a suspect who claimed to have hepatitis. So we're taking care of our officers on that one. And then we also had, Midvale has 2 motor officers who spent a great deal of time supporting the effort in Tremont, and that will be discussed more by Chief Mazarin, but they were there as part of that procession and honoring those 2 fallen officers. And last but not least, I would like to introduce to you our new executive officer for Midvale Precinct, Lieutenant Rich Wilson. So, Lieutenant Wilson, if you want to just tell him a few things about yourself.
Hello, nice to meet you. My name is Rich Wilson. I've been with UPD in the Sheriff's Office for 23 years now. I actually grew up just over the border in Cottonwood Heights, so I hung out a lot in Midvale when I was younger.
We don't hold that against you.
Yeah, well, 23 years, I've done a lot of things, did a lot of patrol. I did K-9 for a couple of years. I was in SWAT. Actually, Chief Mazarin was my SWAT sergeant back in the day. I was a sniper, I was a medic, been detectives. I started our drone unit, and I just got promoted, and I'm here in Midvale. So I'm super happy to be here. It's a great city. We have great employees here, so thank you. Any questions?
Welcome. Welcome, Lieutenant. You may remember him from previous drone demonstrations. That's right. So he's the drone dude.
Yeah, we're really lucky to have him and the expertise that he brings. But last but not least, Unified Police Department has a great deal of connection with Brigham City and with Tremont, and a lot of the officers there in command positions actually came from Unified Police, and so that once you're part of that family, you're forever part of that family. So that hit our agency as well as the agencies up north, and so Chief Mazarin came today to talk about that event a little bit and to put it in context, so I'll turn the time over to Chief Mazarin.
Thank you, Chief Morse, Mayor and Council, and City staff. It's good to see you. Just a quick report from last week. We attended the funerals for the fallen Tremont and Garland officers on Thursday and Friday, and obviously April mentioned the connection that we have up there, and I was able to talk to those chiefs during that week as they plan for those events. And our department did a number of things for them. Obviously, our motors were heavily involved in all the escorts, starting the day after until the last funeral on Friday. And we also sent a contingent up to Box Elder County to help cover those jurisdictions and those areas for those cities and for the county, so that everyone up there knows everybody. So there was a great desire for everyone to attend the funeral. And so we went up to help cover with a couple other agencies in a unified effort up there to make sure anyone that wanted to go to the funeral could. And we were successful at that. And then myself and a group attended both funerals both days. Very nice tributes to not only the officers but their families and what they're going through. And the talks were excellent, and the funeral was really well executed on both days. So I feel like a proper tribute was paid, and I feel like our department made a lot of effort to go up there and do what we could do as representatives of not just our police department, but of our cities and of Midvale, to go up and try to show that when things get tough, we'll be there. So it was a good event and a proper conclusion of that terrible situation. If you don't have any questions for me, that's all I've got.
Thank you, Chief, and I just want to say thanks on behalf of Midvale City for representing us at the funerals. We appreciate that you did that. We're sorry that you had to do it, and we're sorry that that community had to go through what it went through. So,
Yeah, thank you.
next on the agenda, similar in just following that up, we thought that it was appropriate here in Midvale City to pass a proclamation honoring the lives of the two officers who were killed. So we want to read that now. Midvale City Proclamation honoring Sergeant Lee Sorensen and Officer Eric Estrada. Whereas law enforcement officers in Utah and across the nation serve with courage and integrity, dedicating themselves to the safety and well-being of others, often at great personal risk. And whereas the service of law enforcement officers is marked by courage and selflessness, and some are mournfully lost in the line of duty while protecting others. And whereas on August 17th, 2025, Sergeant Lee Sorensen and Officer Eric Estrada of the Tremont and Garland Police Department were tragically killed in the line of duty while responding to a call for service, carrying out their solemn oath to protect and serve. And whereas Sergeant Sorensen and Officer Estrada leave behind beloved families, devoted colleagues, and a grieving community that will long feel the weight of their loss. And whereas the Midvale City Council wishes to pay tribute to the bravery and sacrifice of Sergeant Sorensen and Officer Estrada, and to extend heartfelt condolences to their loved ones, the Tremont and Garland Police Department, and the communities they so honorably served. Now, therefore, the Mayor and City Council of Midvale City do hereby honor the memory, service, and sacrifice of Sergeant Lee Sorensen and Officer Eric Estrada, and call upon the residents of Midvale City to join in extending compassion and support to their families, their fellow officers, and the communities grieving this tragic loss. This has been adopted today, the second day of September 2025, signed by me, the mayor, and all 5 council members. So we are plan to send a copy of this proclamation to the families of both fallen officers, and also a sympathy card that I'll send out on behalf of Midvale City as well. These situations, as most officers will tell you, domestic situations are the ones that they kind of fear the most going out into, because they can turn very quickly, and we see that here in Midvale. So we certainly never want to see something like this happen there. I think I saw that they have about 21 officers in that force, so to lose 2 of 21 officers in one day would be kind of the equivalent of us losing 9 or 10 in the same day. So just a huge loss for the community, and we want to show our support to that community. Okay, well, moving on to something a little bit more, well, a lot more happy. We have a special guest in the audience tonight. We keep doing these recognitions of Kane Loader, who is our former city manager. Kane's dedication to Midvale City, certainly unparalleled. We could recognize his service every meeting. He's just done so much for the city. But his journey with Midvale City began, what, about 30 years ago, or a little bit more than that? 1989, okay. But so after 29 years on the Transjordan Landfill Board and that was as chair, I believe, Kane has finally ushered in a new era of a new transfer station over 700 West in Sandy. So we're going to be announcing a lot of that to the public soon, whenever our folks are going to be able to use that. October 1st is the soft date for the public to use. But Kane was very instrumental in getting that transfer station up and running. He served out, even though he retired now 3 years ago. I can't believe it's been that long since he was city manager, but he's been serving on the board as Midvale's representative for those 3 years just to see this transfer station opened and operational. So we thought it was very appropriate tonight to bring him here and just give him our thanks for so many years of work. The Transjordan landfill, I think, Kane, if you want to come up and talk about it, I know that's it's your baby, and he gushes when he talks about the new transfer station, as he should, because it really will benefit not just Midvale, but the whole valley.
Thanks, Mayor, and thank you for this honor. And I've appreciated the fact that you let me stay for 3 more years and serve on that board. It was kind of my baby, that transfer station, and I wanted to see it up and running, and so I really appreciate you allowing me to stay on that board and get that finished. But yes, we're into the next phase of solid waste for the south end of the valley. This is the first phase, which is to build the east side transfer station. The second phase is to build this transfer station on the west side when the landfill is closed. The landfill should be filled up and closed within about 7 years, and that means that we'll be transferring our waste to another landfill. The other thing that I'm very proud of that the 7 cities did over the last several years is we bought into a landfill down in Alberta that has 100 years of life for the south end of the valley. And so the citizens, the 500,000 residents that we're servicing now and more to come, won't have to worry about where their trash is going to be going, and we will still have full control over the tipping fees and keep those prices down for the residents. So I think our Transjordan has done a great job. The board has done a great job working together. The 7 cities have done a great job in supporting that. And so I just appreciate the fact that you've allowed me to stay with that board and accomplish those things, and something I'll be very proud of the rest of my life.
Well, we want to thank you on behalf of the City Council staff just for your decades of dedication to Midvale City and your service to the Transjordan Landfill Board. It's just going to be such a cost savings, and I know that when you were city manager, that was that's what you did, and make sure that Midvale was in a good financial situation, and this is just more proof of your dedication to that. So we do have just a memento. These are, I'm sure you have a closet full of challenge coins. You've never received one from the Midvale City Mayor.
No.
So I'm going to happily give you one of these, and we have a card here. You're the 5th person to receive a mayoral medallion, and we'd like to get a picture with you out in the lobby, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Yeah. Every single one. while we wait for everyone to get back, the thing to note in the public about the transfer station is that instead of hauling all the way to South Jordan, like all those outskirts of Daybreak, you'll be able to, on Saturdays, it's going to be open to residents only. Glenn, you have something to say on that? So that's October 1st.
After October 1st, it's open daily to the public, but Saturdays are just reserved for the public, no commercial,
Yeah.
just to clarify.
Yeah, thank you. And vouchers, if you were used to that system, that'll still be in place, but instead of driving, 25 minutes out of the way, you'll drive 5 minutes. So it's a very good benefit to our community. So I think we have all council members back, so we can proceed. Next on the agenda, we have a presentation from the Boys and Girls Club, and Amanda. Welcome.
Presentation feels a lot more official and formal than what I'm here to do today. But my name is Amanda Gardner. I'm the president and CEO for Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Salt Lake, and the Midvale Boys and Girls Club is one of our locations. We have over 60 years of service within Salt Lake County area and the Greater Salt Lake area, and many of those decades have been at our Midvale Club, and Midvale City has a long history of supporting our clubs. And recently, the council and mayor, you have renewed that support with a financial contribution to help support our clubs. And I am just coming here today to express my gratitude for that continued investment in our kids and our teens and how greatly needed these programs are. What a pivotal part we feel that of Midvale culture and community and services that offer to your residents, that is an enhancement to them, that we play an important part in the families' lives for many, many years, as kids will come from our club and start coming in kindergarten and stay with us until they graduate high school. Today, in fact, we had over 75 kids coming into our program. We charge a $20 registration fee for the school year. And many times we waive that when we never want price or fees or those fees to be a barrier for services for our families. And recently we have experienced some loss in funding from other federal sources and dollars that have impacted our organization. We have temporarily closed a club in Salt Lake County and transferred service of our Carbon County location to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Utah County. When we were looking at budget cuts and different things of how can we sustain our clubs and our programs, we looked first to the cities that make investments back into our club, and we are able to continue operating and offering our programs at that registration fee with no tuitions and no criteria for membership in Midvale because of your support. And I just wanted to express my gratitude for that. Thank you for investing in our clubs, for recognizing the benefit to our kids and families. And I know in a time where federal funds and public funding is under increased scrutiny, I just want to commend you all for making the decision to invest into our youth. So that's really all I have. But I am also a former Midvale resident, but now I have been married and moved to Davis County. So unfortunately, I'm going to excuse myself from your meeting, but I did want to just make sure I took time to just say thank you. Really appreciate your support.
Well, we want to thank you. It just so happened we had the check that every year, as you mentioned, we contribute because we realize here in Midvale City the impact that you have, not only having a place for kids to go after school where they might go elsewhere that might not be the greatest use of their time, but also the economic benefit that the Boys and Girls Club provides by having a place where kids can go, therefore allowing both parents to work and have that opportunity. So we thank you. We recognize the benefit of the Boys and Girls Club. We hope that with everything's happening federally with that funding, we know that you're going to weather the storm and hopefully come out better on the other side. So we appreciate everything. Any questions from the council?
Just thank you.
So I'd say I don't have any questions, but I was a Boys and Girls Club kid, so I grew up there. So I think what the Boys and Girls Club does for communities and for families is invaluable. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And before you leave,
Thank you. I wasn't expecting money. But I will take it.
we don't have one of the big ceremonial publishers there.
That's great. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, for those of you attending a council meeting for the first time, there's not this much normal walking around, but I feel like I've got my steps in here. Moving on to public comments. Any person wishing to comment on any item not otherwise scheduled for a public hearing on the agenda may address the city council now. Just simply step up to the microphone and state your name for the record. We do have a 3-minute limit per person. So if there's anyone here, and I assume there are several, come on up.
Hi, I'm Sue Armitage. Tiffany Diener and I were fantasizing the other night before the last Midvale Monday movie, Grease, which was a big hit, by the way, about a main street that would have some heavy-duty garbage cans and maybe some more benches along the street. We were thinking that with some of the new restaurants and cafes coming in, and Altojitos up at the south end, people could, wander along, have a place to sit if they didn't feel like being inside. So we wondered if the city has anything like that, in the future. And you don't need to answer it now, but I'm going to be grabbing onto that.
Anytime someone from the public mentions Main Street, all of our heads go over here and we look at Nate Rockwood. I don't know, Nate, do you have any, because I know we have some things.
Yeah, we've ordered a couple of benches that we'll put in and another garbage can, but we are looking at strategically where we need to put some benches all the way along the street and maybe a couple of garbage cans. So we are looking at that. And then we'll just slowly add those as we kind of have funds and find the right spots for them.
Perfect.
Midvale Community Council could help it out with raising funds.
Okay, thank you, Sue. Anyone else? Come on up.
So I don't know if I'm supposed to get up now. I think what I'm here to talk about is on the agenda, so I might be in the wrong spot. But my name's Aubrey Earle. I wanted to talk about a potential park opportunity. I live across the street from a lot that is opening for sale. It has 3 separate parcels, so it's been broken up into 3 separate parcels. I believe all 3 will be put up for sale, and the total cost would be $740,000. But it would give us a 0.6 acre park. I know that I've talked with a bunch of the neighbors. I think the majority of the people that are here visiting today are here for this particular issue. One of the concerns that had been brought up was things about traffic and trash and kind of stuff like that, in addition to the initial cost of the land. I had looked up some information on that. The National Recreation and Park Association did a research study on what would be called pocket parks, which incidentally is a hilarious name for a park, and consider naming it Pocket Park if you decide to do this. But they actually talk about how it actually decreases traffic and increases the value of the homes surrounding the park. And for 500 feet, I believe, there's benefits for 500 feet all around a park. Not to mention just this particular plot of land has been used as a cow pasture for a long time. When we moved in, it was a cow pasture, and it's brought a lot of joy to, I think everybody can attest to how fun it's been to have this really unique feature. And we would just love it if we had a space that could be still fun and still used as a really cool community space instead of bought out by developers and turned into as many townhomes as we can possibly fit in that space. So we just wanted to kind of come here and show our support for this idea and share our interest in this opportunity, and that we as a community would be interested in assisting in however we could to see if this is possible.
Okay, thank you. And while this specific topic isn't on the official agenda, anyone here, and I'd reached out to you and let you know that during public comment, we can hear from anyone. We do have the 3-minute time limit. So yeah, if anyone else wants to comment about it. I will say that, your presentation that you emailed me was very well done, very thorough. I forwarded that along to our city council and some of our other planning folks.
Mayor, I'd like to speak up.
Yes.
I can't hear all those notice being said, but I do know what, through word of mouth, what's going on. I'm Marvella Sharp, Newbold. My great-grandfather homesteaded the whole area that this is included in. I moved there in 1953. We were the county at that time. But when we annexed into Midvale, we annexed with single-dwelling homes. And my request is that we stay where we annexed as to Midvale City as single-dwelling homes. Our enforcement is not able to take care of the problems that need to be enforced in the area anyway. If the city buys the property, our taxes are going to raise because you're going to need money to maintain it. And I would prefer not having my taxes raised to help you to maintain something that it should be single-dwelling homes.
Okay, we appreciate those comments. So the research that we were able to perform today, this is a single-family residential area. That's what it's zoned for now. So there's no plans or no ability for high-density housing to go in this particular area. So that concern, we can kind of put that to bed, that, it's, unless someone comes to us with a zone change, I can't speak for the council, but I don't think that would be something that would be favored in that area. But, so that particular piece, we're good to go there, single-family residential area, and that's what it is now, and there's no plans to change it to anything else.
And we will be notified if anything is changed.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, if there's a rezone, there's a statutory requirement to notify residents within certain.
500?
Yeah. And for this, there would be quite a
So you'd
bit.
see a sign out front, and you would also receive a mailer. If there was any request for a rezone, you'll not only see a sign on the property, but you'll also receive a letter in the mail letting you know.
But I would like to say thank you to Ken. He had Midvale City in his mind and looked out for Midvale City all along. And then met many times with him. And he loves Midvale City.
He served Midvale City very well. Thank you again for your comments. Anyone else like to address the council? Come on up. And I think you have a presentation. And if it's okay for the council, I did talk to a couple of you. So because they have a presentation they want to give, instead of doing 3 minutes for one and 3 minutes for the other, we're just going to put 6 minutes up for both of them to get through the presentation. Is that okay? Okay, go ahead.
Good evening. Good evening, council members. My name is Kirthana Perla, and I am a senior at Hillcrest High School.
I'm Vitalia Sun, and I'm a junior at Waterford. Thank you for this opportunity to address you tonight. We're here to talk about Midvale's recycling infrastructure, specifically pertaining to glass. On your way to the chamber tonight, you passed by the only glass recycling container in a city of over 36,000 residents. By contrast, Salt Lake City spreads 217,000 residents across 19 collection points. About 11,000 people per site when compared to Salt Lake City, Midvale offers its residents less than 1/3 of the access to glass recycling bins. I'm sure many of you, as city leaders and responsible citizens, make use of it, but is it still being effectively utilized? If not, why? It is without doubt that the majority of our glass ends up in the landfill, even though glass is the only material that is infinitely recyclable. We would like to bring your attention to the issue and, more importantly, propose a simple fix that's not only affordable but can have a huge impact on our city and beyond.
But before we tell you about our simple fix, we'd like to start off with the current state of the recycling in our state. Utah is ranked 32nd in the nation for recycling and the second least eco-friendly state in the nation. In fact, only 16% of glass is recycled here. In Midvale, this situation is no better. As mentioned earlier, we only have one glass drop-off location in the entire city. And when glass goes to the landfill, it takes up valuable space, about 5% of the total volume. Furthermore, glass does not compact and take an extremely long time to decompose, 1 million years to be exact. So the hidden cost of not recycling is way higher than most people realize. We need to give credit where it is due. The city did introduce not long ago a second way to recycle glass, namely a paid service for residents to have glass hauled away from their home.
A quick question for the audience. How many of you currently use the paid curbside glass recycling service?
With a raise of hands.
I use my daughters up in Sugar House.
So it's not a very great number. No one expects the situation to improve anytime soon. It is not that people don't care about the current barrier to participate in glass recycling. It's not that people don't care about recycling, but the current barrier to participate in glass recycling is too high. It feels as if the existing setup is there to punish people who want to recycle. First, limit the public option to a single location, and then ask people to pay extra to recycle glass at home. But glass recycling is way more important than just simply being environmentally conscious. We're missing out on some amazing development opportunities. Recycled glass can be made into cullet, which is then used for a variety of purposes, from landscaping materials to fiberglass to glass vault. Road resurfacing is being done every summer locally, and just imagine that we could use locally sourced glass vault to do the job. This would encourage local asphalt plants to divert from excavating our mountains. Take a drive up I-5 and you will witness the horrible scars that excavation has left. Furthermore, downcycling could create a whole range of new business opportunities right here in our community. So what is a cheap and effective solution to increase the glass recycling rate in Midvale? Instead of just having one low traffic drop-off at the City Hall, we can place additional collection points around Midvale, this time at high foot traffic locations like schools, parks, and shopping centers, basically places where people go on a regular basis. This approach provides a win-win-win scenario. First, a win for the citizens of Midvale who will be able to recycle their glass with ease, no advertising and extra out-of-pocket expense. Second, a win for the city of Midvale as it will be able to provide its residents a useful service with no or little impact on the budget while also building an environmentally friendly city. And third, a win for the recyclers. Organizations like Momentum will be able to haul more glass with fewer trips, saving both time and energy. And over time, these visual collection points normalize recycling in our day-to-day life, planting a seed in the mind of our younger generation so that it becomes a second nature for them to participate when they grow up. And of course, the 2034 Olympics will bring international attention to Utah. With the new International Olympic Committee's emphasis on sustainability, if Midvale decides to step forward now, we can proudly lead the region by example and encourage more cities to follow.
To end, we would like to present the following request to the Midvale City Council. We propose the council work with the Public Works Department to, first, identify 4 to 5 potential locations to install glass collection containers. Second, coordinate with recyclers on pickup logistics and the mechanism to track usage and results. Third, finally, to present a proposal back to the council. Midvale can't solve the world's recycling problems, but we can solve Midvale's glass problem. With a few added collection points, we'll keep more glass out of the landfill, save the city money in the long run, and build a more sustainable community. This is a small step, but one that could make a big difference for our city, our residents, and our future. Lastly, our organization will be making rounds at city councils in our region. We are both from Midvale, and we both served on the youth council. We really hope that our city will be the very first to take actions so we can feel even more proud of our city and our leaders. Thank you, and we're happy to take any questions.
Kirtana and Vitalia, can you remind us and the audience of your ages?
I'm about to be 16.
I'm 17.
I just think it's fantastic that you put this together, and you both served on the youth council and took this issue and made it something completely different. And I just commend you on putting all of this together in such a impressive presentation for the council. And I think you know my feelings on this issue. I would love to see more glass recycling locations throughout the city. It becomes an issue of cost for the city, but I think it's well taken that, especially on the east side of Midvale, there is no glass collection point on the east side of Midvale other than to take your glass to a place like Target, which you can actually take glass to Target and put it in their glass recycle containers. So some private businesses do offer that service. So I think it's, and the council can weigh in as well, I think it's definitely something for us to look into and at least get something on the east side of Midvale that's similar to the one here. I will say, as it came up in discussions today, our west side location is on right off of Stagg Street, which is going to undergo huge infrastructure changes. So that even that collection point is going to be difficult to get into. So we might have to think about moving that one at least temporarily while that project's going on. But you know, I really just wanted to commend you for the presentation you put together. You certainly are the future of city governments, and I just wanted to say thank you for that.
Thank you.
Does the council have any questions? Or
I just wanted to add that the transfer station has a glass recycle bin as well as brass, metal, cardboard. So it's one-stop shop. That will open October 1st. So there will be a second location.
Yep. So that'll be 700 West, and yeah, 80 before 90th South. Any other questions?
No, I just want to echo the mayor's comments on the east side. I represent the east side, and I would love to see one over there. That would be really great.
One follow-up question you did do the audience participation. How many in the audience use the glass drop-off recycle? And so there are more hands going up. So in Murray, okay, we'll allow it. So there are more people, but to your point, to make it where you don't have to drive a long distance, you know, at the very least, I think is something to look into. So thank you both very much again.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. I mean, 16 and 17 years old. I know they will be elected officials one day, mark my words. Is there anyone else who would like to address the city council?
Yeah.
Come on up.
So, I live directly west of the pasture.
And can you just state your name for the record?
My name is Deborah Webster. We moved in 90, and we raised our family there, and the pasture has always been there. It is up for sale now with the potential of 4 homes. And those 4 homes will be brand new, and they could have potentially multiple families within each home. So while it is a valid concern about traffic, that's going to create a lot of traffic. And who's to say that those 4 homes will take care of themselves? So my thing is that it will definitely raise taxes. 4 brand new homes are definitely going to raise our property taxes, regardless. So I am in favor of a park or a community garden. So that's, you know, that's my thoughts. So I just wanted to let you know. And I understand about changing the land from homes to like a potential park. I understand that. I just want to let you know that our little community is for it. Everybody, except for Dixie and Marvella, are against it. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Deborah. Would anyone else like to address the council? Come on up. Yes,
Not like
say your
my
name for the
birthday or
record.
anything
No,
like that.
no,
Okay,
just
cool.
your name for the record.
My name is Alexis. I'm also here in favor for the little pocket park. Sounds really cute. I guess I just have a quick question and maybe some clarification because I have no idea how city planning works, right? Our neighbor here talked about how it's not zoned for it to be multi-family housing, right, and more of the single-family dwelling. So can you explain to me how that works? Is it because we're like in a residential street? Or, because I know we see townhomes popping up and big apartment building popping up. So what's the difference between the zone that street is on and the zone that, like, for example, there are some townhomes popping up called Woodhaven Townhomes just east of Midvale Elementary, like in the middle of the neighborhood there. So, like, can you explain to me what the difference of that zone is to the zone where our street is?
So I think generally, we were going to have our is he here? Oh yeah, there he is. We were going to have our planning director, Adam Olson, meet with you guys, maybe in the other conference room, just to talk about some of these things and the questions that you have. So,
okay. Sorry.
No, that's okay. You didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I would be shocked if you did know that.
Oh, thanks.
I'd wonder how. So if you have more questions, just generally, there are different zoning areas throughout the city, and so the area that you're talking about is zoned for single family only.
Okay, cool. No, that's good to know. But anyways, I am in favor. I think it'd be great for a lot of the new families moving into the area. Lots of growing families are moving into the area, and I have spoken to a lot of them, and I know that a lot of them are for it, just because it would be fun to have a place to like just walk around, take your kids to, because we don't have access to like the playground during school hours, and we have a lot of non-school age kids. It could be fun to do like, a neighborhood yoga Saturday mornings or like a neighborhood barbecue or something like that, right? It would just be fun to have a little pocket park. Anyways, that's all for me. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Come on up.
Good evening. My name is Brian Van Steenkist. I live directly across from the park, 2 doors down from Marvella, whose opinion I respect. Been a resident of Midvale since '04, bought my house in '07. Probably the main reason I bought the house was because when I look out my picture window, I see a cow. That's no longer there, but I think the community character of open space is still there. That's something we should preserve. The pocket park is also probably feasible. I don't know if the water rights are going to go with the sale of that parcel, but we do have an open, free-flowing ditch. So whenever they turn the weir on for our P1 water up at 700 East, that's constantly flowing along the entire length of the 7660 frontage. So I know where there's a will, there's a way. I've seen some crazy things in this valley in the last 25 years, but that parcel's been flooded for 100 years. So engineering-wise, I don't even know how they're going to account for all that. But just real quickly, voicing my support for keeping open space, which is part of the character of that block. I think it makes it desirable. It's got more health benefits for sure than jam jobbing a bunch of single family units, 3 to 4 houses on 0.6 acres. And yeah, I'm for the park, live across the street, and thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Would anyone else like to address the council? Come on up.
Just voicing my support same way. I live 2 houses west of the pasture. We've only been there since 21. We moved here in 2020 for a more outdoor lifestyle, me and my wife, skiing, hiking. And then whenever we moved to Midvale, we would first year downtown on 330 and 400. And we love the views. I think somehow our street in Midvale has some of the best views of the mountains in the entire Salt Lake area, which is really unique. And I think it's in part because we have just a little bit of an open space that the street, is able to enjoy. We miss the cow. People have been here a lot longer, and definitely agree with, however, the zoning and, all the weeds of it that luckily y'all deal with, that single family, and I don't know how it would be 3 lots if it is kept as a residential zoned area. 3 parcels is tight, and there's 2 streets, so I've even said if they're gonna build a home there, just 2 lots. I don't know how y'all do that or not, but it definitely keeps, the street is very unique and kind of that whole side, just east of Moochie's and the pawn shop and everything right there between the school, which we sometimes can't use during the hours, and, the big blacktop they have there. So nothing new, I guess, in addition, but, even new families that are moving here, along with the old families that have been here since the 50s, would like to kind of see it stay the way it has been.
And would you mind stating your name for the record?
It's Sawyer Jacobs.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sawyer. Anyone else want to address the council? Come on up.
I'm Creighton Weixler, and been a Salt Lake resident my entire life, and also just want to state, support for the park. For me, a big part of why I would love to see it too, along with what everyone else has said, is when my wife and I first moved in, we used to have during the harvest days, our community would get together for a little get together, and it hasn't happened I think in 2-3 years, just because people haven't been able to support putting it on in their backyard. And I think it'd be amazing to be able to have a space where we could do that, because I've really missed that. And we, my wife and I, have been able to meet a lot of people in the community just from going to those little get-together events during harvest days. And if we hadn't had those when we first moved in, there's a lot of people we wouldn't know. Some of those people even that are here today. So we built really long-lasting relationships, and I think it would be a great benefit for us to bring a space like that back, so it's not putting pressure on somebody to throw a get together in their yard and whatnot. And so for me, I just think it would build the community a lot, and that's just one thing I wanted to add on to, just along with what everybody else has said. So
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Come on up.
Hi, my name's Josh Hartley. I'm Aubrey's husband. We live next to Brian, basically directly across the street from the pasture. Something I want to bring up about the park, I'm in favor of the park, is that something they're not making any more of is land. So that means with this being a pasture, with there not being any structures on it, there's little effort in being able to change this into being a park. Sure, there's going to be some bulldozing and figuring out the water and that kind of stuff, but compared to either knocking down a vacant building or something like that and turning something like that into a community space, this already being a clear lot, it's perfect for being able to make a pocket park. And pocket parks, they don't generate inner city travel. So people from Sandy aren't going to be coming to this park. That's just not real. So more vehicle traffic would not happen because of it. So any concerns for my neighbors, that's just not real. Another boon for Pocket Park is that all of our property values will go up because it's a local neighborhood amenity, that's nothing but a good thing. Just wanted to state those things. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Josh. Step right up. University of Delaware. I spent a year in Wilmington, Delaware.
Okay, so did Joe Biden. My name is Mary Ann Kaczynski. I'm a retired respiratory therapist. I think we need shade. We need big trees. This would be a great place to kind of have this pocket park, have a great place for other people to enjoy each other. And I've been living on the street for over 20 years, and there are a lot more families with smaller children, a lot. I mean, constantly now, and it's great, it's wonderful. And these people are getting out and they're being healthy, okay? So this is a good thing. We need to promote this stuff in community. And I just think that it would be a terrific place to go to. The people there will take care of it. They will. And I don't think it's going to cause any more traffic or anything like that. And the school, they pick up and drop off at my end where I am. And I'm further down the street. And I think that the school is great, but not everybody can use the school because you can't use it during school hours. What else? You could have a garden center there. Also, I don't know if anybody else did this, but I zero-scaped. I went with doing that, and a lot of people in Midvale asked us to do it, use less water, and I did. So, a lot of people are getting away from the lawns, so this would be our green space to replace what we, and it could be managed better by one source instead of, and everybody else could enjoy it, and that's about it.
Okay, thank you. Spoken like a true blue hen. University of Delaware.
My name is Pete Allred. I live in the lot on the southeast side of the vacant lot. I'm happy for Lenny to be able to be selling that land, and I like neighbors, and I also respect Marvella's opinion, but I would just say I have a mild preference for a green space to be put in there, and I don't even have any really good reasons for it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Pete is a man of few words. Thank you, Pete. Would anyone else like to address the council? Come on up.
Hello, my name is Haley Brinkman. I live in the lot directly across from the vacant lot. I am coming out today because I am a board member on the Wasatch Backcountry Alliance. We are actively working on protecting developed land and undeveloped land. There needs to be a balance in the Salt Lake Valley. As you know, we're building out everything. We're building it as high as we can, as far as we can, and oftentimes we don't realize the ecological impacts that has on our community. We're seeing that with the Great Salt Lake, we're seeing that with the air, and we need to do what we can as a community to be able to protect the places that we have available. This is one small lot where we can do this. This is one lot that we can help build our future and help protect our children and our children's children for being able to have access to green area. If we keep building, we're not going to be able to provide that for them. This is just my proposal today. I am in favor of protecting that area in whatever capacity. I am not in favor of building on it. So thank you for your time today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Haley. Would anyone else like to address the council? I feel like a broken record up here. Okay, seeing none, so Adam was prepared to talk to you folks, and I still can't see him, but I think he's over there. There he is. So if you would want, feel free to stick around for the rest of our meeting, but if that's, you want to ask some questions, maybe, Adam, is it okay to go into the Dahl Conference Center, or conference room, I should say, and have some conversations there? I want to thank you guys for coming out. The speed in which you've put this together is very impressive, and to put it together that quickly, but also so thoroughly, is not something we often see on council. So definitely appreciate that. There are some, obviously this is not like, it presents unique challenges for us And I think that's what Adam will discuss with you. Because, you know, at the end of the day, if we could just say, yes, you get a pocket park, I think we all probably would say something like that up here. But, you know, there are other considerations and other challenges that, you know, make it a little bit more difficult than just that. So because you guys have said so much, if there's any comments or questions, concerns from the council, I think it's one of those times where we don't normally respond to every public comment, but if council wants to say anything, add anything to the discussion.
I just want to thank everybody for coming. This is my favorite part about what we do, when people come in here and they engage with us. I wish this happened every single week. It's very important, and so if you guys ever have anything, please don't hesitate to come out or call us or whatever. This is literally what we're here for. So, I mean, you know, sometimes it might not work out, and sometimes it will, but we don't know unless you guys come to us. So this, I value this so much. You took time out of your days, and that really does mean a lot to us. So I don't want you guys to leave and be like, oh, I didn't say anything. Like, we really, really value this. So that's really all I want to say.
Okay. Well, if you want, those of you who are interested in furthering the discussion, we'll just have you over in the Dahl conference room, which is right out. Yep, thank you. Out the door is to the right. Sorry, now we've lost our audience. Okay, moving on.
It looks like a normal council meeting.
Yeah, now it's normal. It's Sue and Reiner. That's a normal audience. Moving on to, well, first, is there anyone else who wants to give public comment? Okay, public comment closed. We'll move on to council reports, starting with, as always, Councilmember Bonnie Billings.
I just wanted to echo how great it was to see a full council meeting tonight, and hearing the different ways that we can improve upon our community, different ideas. I think that's really great. I also wanted to thank Kane again, and our members of the community working to improve it with the glass recycling proposals. So that's what I have today.
Okay. Thank you, Councilmember. And Councilmember Paul Glover.
First off, we went to the transfer station for Transjordan, an amazing facility. It's going to be so nice to be able to just, instead of spending an hour going out to the dump and back, 10 minutes at the most probably, to go down and dump what you need to have dumped at a reasonable price. So that was a great opportunity. Secondly, mosquitoes. Surprise, surprise.
When he said two things, one was guaranteed.
Mosquitoes are going to be out until we get the first frost or freeze, okay? And they have, West Nile virus is now hit, and it's gone to humans this year here in the Salt Lake County. So, but not only that, we have St. Louis encephalitis virus along with this. And that's only been in the mosquitoes so far, not into humans. So, from the board I'm on, they're urging everybody to be careful, to use sprays, to use long pants, mostly in the evenings. This is when this happens. Be careful. If you want more information, the Salt Lake County Health Department has different information on both of those. So be careful though. It can become a neurovirus and can be really bad. So
okay.
That's it, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Glover. Councilmember Heidi Robinson.
Thanks, Mayor. First of all, I just wanted to extend my sincere condolences to the Estrada and the Sorensen family, as well as the other officers up there. When police officers function like a family, like sometimes it's dysfunctional, but it's definitely a family. So I can only imagine what that entire department is going through, and ours that knew him. My dearest sympathies right now on that. So, and then also on a positive note, I'd like to thank Kane Loader and all his work for the transfer station. We did get to do a tour there thanks to our own personal tour guide. And I really do think this is going to be a huge benefit for us. And that's it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Robinson. And Councilmember Bryant Brown.
Yeah, I have two things. First, just as a reminder for everyone out there, school has started. So when you're driving, to and from work, just to be a little more cautious. It feels like there's more kids walking and more cars driving all at the same time somehow, and it's our responsibility as a driver is to be looking out for kids, and we have some very large schools in Midvale. So, just keep your eyes open. We don't want a tragedy if we can help it. And the second one sort of just came to me through this meeting. I think we should look into like a handheld mic or something for people that can't get to the stand. We have one? Okay, good. Just because probably from the recorder's perspective and stuff, and having that on record, and just good for accessibility, so. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Brown. And Councilmember Denise Mikalash.
Thank you. Two things too. Want to say thank you to Adam, who's not here, the code enforcement team. I have residents who have reached out to me about some issues, and they've been fantastic about following up, going and talking to them, understanding the issues. Also want to say thank you to the residents for contacting me. We're looking at the policies around code enforcement, so it's good to hear what is and what isn't working from the people that are actually impacts. Second thing, I just want to say how proud I am of the city to continue to invest in the Boys and Girls Club. Makes a huge difference in our community, and that was just very moving, in addition to seeing what comes out of that around the recycling and everything else that comes out of our youth. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Mikalash. For my report, I will be brief. I will try to be brief. In addition to all of the thank yous to Kane, our youth council, who gave that wonderful presentation, very proud of them, and also to the community who came out. They saw an issue in their community, and they came and did what we always tell people they should do, and that is to petition their government. So they're not here, and Adam's not here, but maybe they'll hear this later. Thank you. I just wanted to note two things. 2 weeks ago, I was lucky enough or unlucky enough to attend the Violent Crimes Conference with Chief April Morse. And I was taken aback, one, by some of the photos that were shared during that, but as a civilian, it's a little more difficult to see than police folks who are used to, maybe used to that sort of thing. Some of the things I guess you probably never get used to, but I do think it was a very valuable use of time for me, and I wish other elected officials would go to it in the future, not to see those photos, but to see some of the tactics that are used by our law enforcement agencies. I learned quite a lot during that 3-day conference, so I want to thank the chief for inviting me to that. I think we plan to talk about some of the issues that were brought up, mostly with like license plate readers. There's a lot of misinformation going around about what license plate readers are capturing, how long they're capturing it, and what that data is being used for. I saw a conversation recently talking about how it's being sold to companies so that they can do something with your buying habits and data. So misinformation about those. Geofencing was a thing that I didn't realize the extent of how that's used in major operations. Sorry, I keep looking right at Chief Morse. Sorry. But yes, it's very valuable. I think in the future, if there's a council member who would like to attend as well, I know Heidi, my my murder podcast friend, Aubrey as well. But anyway, that was a very useful experience, and I did get my certificate in my email today to say that I completed the course. And so we have Citizens Academy coming up, similar to that. I'm going to attend some of those as I can. I won't be able to attend them all, and I think Councilmember Mikalash is going to be joining.
Yes, very excited about that.
So I think registration is closed at this point. So we'll report back to the council, and hopefully you guys can attend next year if you want to do that. I know I said I'd be brief, but we knew that wasn't going to happen. One last thing, on September 13th, so not this Saturday, but next Saturday, the Midvale Main Street Car Show will be on Midvale Main Street. That would be awkward if it was somewhere else. But that will be from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. So come on out for that. I will do my normal shtick where I pretend to know about cars and kick tires and ask how many miles per gallon it gets. But if there's a council member or two or three who wants to help me give out awards, I'd definitely appreciate the help in that. So let's coordinate that offline. And that brief report is it for me. Moving on to another brief report. City Manager Matt Dahl.
It'll be Matt Dahl brief. The two things I wanted to cover is one, I know he's already left. I'm sure he'll listen to the YouTube after this. But I also just want to thank Kane for his continued work on the Trans-Jordan Landfill Board. I was looking again at some of the number of years that he worked for Midvale, 32 years working for Midvale, 16 as city manager. As I was looking that stuff up on the Googles, it came up that the average tenure for a city manager is 4.7 years. And so not only did Kane, was he city manager for 16 years, but then also usually when those end, they don't end well. And so, but we asked Kane to stay on for another 4.6 years as as our representative to the Trans-Jordan landfill. So that makes the number, if he has been on that for 4.6 years after he was done being city manager, that means I have been city manager for 4.6 years, which means I'm coming right up on the 4.7.
No,
I know,
no, you're
it's
not.
scary. It's coming. It's scary.
No.
Well, that's how the time works. No, sorry, I'm not leaving. I'm just saying it's coming. I'm coming up on that time frame, and it's just the thing I was thinking about. But anyways, but I do think the fact that we kept him on speaks a lot to him, and appreciate everything that he's done. Okay, sorry, that did sound like I was leaving. I'm not leaving. Just so we're clear. Just quoting how much time's going. The next thing is on Saturday, the 13th. Will be the 28th Midvale Main Street Classic Car Show. Is it 28th? 4th? 5th? That's what it is, the 5th.
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute.
Midvale Main Street Classic Car Show.
On the 13th.
On the 13th,
Okay,
11 to
there's just
4.
a lot of numbers.
Sorry. So anyways, I just want to make sure everyone knew that was happening this Saturday, the 13th, 11 to 4. There will be, of course...
Next Saturday.
What did I say?
I said this Saturday, and I already talked about it.
Did you?
Like, literally before you started.
You were
talking.
Googling Kane stats.
I was Googling Kane
Yes,
stats.
I talked about it, asked if people would help give out awards.
Yeah.
Did that really? Was that a whole thing?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have stopped listening to him. That's 4.6 years. What happened?
It's a marriage.
We'll see if he makes it to 4.7. Continue. City Manager Matt Dahl.
So on the 13th, I got nothing else. It's
The carb show.
Do you guys know there's gonna be a car show? It's the 28th. Okay, that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah.
We got you double covered, Aubrey. I called her Aubrey then too. It's all going downhill.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it? That was quick. Does anyone else want to talk about the car show? Seeing none, let's move on to public hearings. We have two public hearings tonight. First one, receive public comment regarding amending various use tables in Title 17 of the Midvale City Municipal Code, correcting clerical errors related to business license requirements. And to guide us through this is Elizabeth.
Yes, and it is as exciting as it sounds. This started because we happened to see in one of our zone's use tables that a home occupation didn't require a business license, or it seemed to have been omitted at some point when the zone was changed. So it just prompted an audit to make sure that our uses were accurate for ones that need business licenses and some that don't. So we did find some that must have been left in or not current practice for us or policy or in code to require business licenses. So we just removed any that didn't need them and included them for ones that do. You are familiar with our code that requires you to find one of the criteria to approve a text amendment, and we find that this one corrects clerical errors or mistakes of fact. And then I just have a motion for you, unless you have any questions.
Are there any questions for Elizabeth? Okay, this is a public hearing, so I'll entertain a motion to open this to public comment.
Mayor, I motion that we open public comment.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, we are in public comment. Is there anyone who would wish to comment publicly? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close public comment.
Mayor, I motion we close public comment.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Any opposed? Public comment is closed, and there is a recommended motion for the council to consider.
Mayor, I move that we approve ordinance number 2025-0-14, authorizing a text amendment to various use tables in Title 17 of the Midvale City Municipal Code, correcting clerical errors related to business license requirements.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Charlie, will you call the yeas and nays?
Councilmember Glover,
Aye.
Robinson. Aye. Brown,
Yes.
Mikuláš,
Yes.
and Billings.
Yes.
Okay, that passes unanimously. We have a second public hearing. Receive public comment regarding amending section 17-7-4.3 of the Midvale City Municipal Code relating to multifamily development standards. Elizabeth.
Yes. Okay, so this is a small amendment, but does a fair bit to just the RM25 section and just to lot standards. The biggest thing it does in regards to lot area is multifamily developments had some specific language about a project needed to have half of an acre, and then for the first dwelling unit, they had to have 3,000 square feet, and for the next one, they had to have 1,960, and it just made some calculations for us difficult, and we couldn't figure out a reason they had been done that way. So we changed that very slightly to just say any multifamily project has to have a half acre, and then they just need to have that additional 1,960 square feet for every unit that they have proposed as part of the project. So that clears up some calculations on our end and makes it easier. The other thing that we have added is some explicit language that says that any project that meet the overall lot requirements, so for area, frontage, width, all of the things that we look at, if the multifamily development project meets that, they can then subdivide those into individual units for ownership. Between our department and legal, we were doing some mental gymnastics on how to make that happen for projects. I think the intent was to allow for individual ownership for those units. So we've just added something that explicitly states that as long as the overall project meets it, then they can do that. The last thing that we've done is for lot width and lot frontage. Multifamily development used to have some different standards. It was much smaller. So we have regular single-family duplex and then multifamily standards. We have changed those to match the duplex standards, which ends up giving multifamily a little bit bigger, more straightforward. And there was just some contradictory language about structures versus buildings versus units that made interpreting that difficult. So we have changed those to just all be the same. For this one, we found that it meets number 3. It more clearly explains the original intent and makes it more succinct and easier to interpret for us moving forward. And then a motion unless you have any questions.
I have some questions.
Sure.
Just from a practical standpoint, I was trying to figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does that mean, right, for the average resident? Like, I think they would look at it and go, oh my goodness, does this mean, there could be 10, will this change an increase in density for areas and stuff? I don't think so, right? But, like, in layman's terms, would you explain this to a resident so they don't fear that we're messing with the code that could take like an SF1 or SF2 area and make it more, like, for example, the people came in, we think there's like 3 that can fit in that area, right? Mm-hmm. Like, could this make 6 or something, right?
Right.
Do you see what I'm getting at, like, from a
Great
practical
question.
standpoint? Yeah.
So this will only impact the RM25, which is our highest and most dense zone that we have.
Okay.
It makes the standards for the lot in which a project would come in on just more uniform moving forward. There were some exceptions for if you happen to have a development on a cul-de-sac, which I've never seen since I've been here, and I'm not sure that I could even find one in this city, that said they could have basically a really narrow lot where they could put a small road to go back to a development. So it really helps to open some of those on their access streets and things like that. So it should make some of those developments easier, more straightforward, and more clear cut.
So this
but
is-
it doesn't change anything regarding density or units, anything like that.
So this is, and not that this is bad, reactionary to problems we've dealt with, or is this proactive? We think there's some development waiting for this to happen, or both?
That's a great question. Yes and no. I mean, we are amending this because we run into it often, and it ends up with a lot of time between me and Garrett trying to figure out how we're gonna do that. So we've worked very closely on this so that we can make it easier and a more smooth process for developers. But it doesn't change anything in practically how we are reviewing or doing projects, other than those slight modifications to lot sizes.
So that's what I got when I was reading it. For these kind of changes, let's try to highlight those when we're doing the presentations, because I have had people, watch the video or something and go, why would you bring this up? Why would you do this? And, obviously there's a developer asking or something along those lines.
Okay.
And that will, now there's going to be 100 new units in some area, right? When I was reading it though, I was a little I think this is just how you're presenting it. So that's why I was asking those leading questions.
Okay,
So not
I can include
trying to be negative. I just felt like I was getting to the point without me saying it like I do sometimes.
And to Elizabeth's point, I think probably the biggest takeaway for most residents is, at least for RM25, the process for someone to have an owner-occupied unit, whether it's in a townhome or a condo or something along those lines, is a lot more straightforward for staff and the developer to apply for and to receive, rather than how are we doing all these different calculations to figure out whether or not this can be subdivided. Now it's very simple. We're going to look at the project as a whole on a lot basis, and then it's going to be guaranteed that every unit is going to be able to be subdivided to be owner-occupied.
That's great. I think that's great. So.
Any other questions from council? Okay, this is also a public hearing. Is there a motion to open this to public comment?
Mayor, I motion that we open public comment.
Second?
Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Is anyone from the public who would like to comment on this item? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close public comment.
Mayor, I motion we close public comment.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Public comment is closed, and there's a motion for the council.
Mayor, I move that we approve ordinance number 2025-0-15, authorizing a text amendment to section 17-7-4.3 of the Midvale City Municipal Code relating to multifamily development standards.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Charlie, will you call the yeas and nays?
Councilmember Robinson?
Aye.
Brown?
Yes.
Micolash?
Yes.
Billings?
Yes.
And Glover?
Aye.
Okay, that passes unanimously. Thank you, Elizabeth. Moving on to our consent agenda, we have one item, and that is to consider the minutes of August 19th, 2025, regular business meeting, and August 19th, 2025, Truth in Taxation meeting. Is there a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Mayor, I motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second?
Motion and a second. Charlie, will you call the yeas and nays?
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Micolash?
Yes.
Billings?
Yes.
Glover?
Aye.
And Robinson?
Aye.
Okay, that passes unanimously as well. We have a multitude of action items tonight. The first one, consider resolution number 2025 R51, approving adoption of public art guidelines. And for those council members who have not yet met Moira Gray, one of the greatest names in television history, we're happy to have Moira. It's very difficult for me not to call her Moira Rose. But we welcome Moira Gray for her first presentation to the council. Real quick, I have never had so many people reach out to me when we hired a new employee to say, like, what a gem we are getting with Moira, and sorry to ambush you with that. But yes, you know the folks who reached out to me and said that we definitely got a great person, and we're looking forward to many more of these presentations for you in the future. So
thank you, Mayor.
Go for it.
Hello, Mayor and Council. My name is Moira Gray. I'm the new RDA and Economic Development Project Manager. So I'm the new Meggie. Public art guidelines. The purpose of the public art guidelines is to be used to internally guide staff as we execute our public art programs, but also externally help artists while they're developing their own project proposals. We have previously used internal public art guidelines that you guys have seen before attached to our mural program, but as we were looking at, expanding and perhaps adding some sculpture into our public art program, we realized our public art guidelines only apply to sculpture and they needed to be updated. So there are three main sections to the guidelines. We have a location section, design criteria, and maintenance. We took inspiration from what other cities were doing. We looked specifically a lot at Park City and Salt Lake City. So first up, location selection, pretty general stuff. We want to make sure that it's in a public place facing as many streets as possible so it can get as many eyes on it, preferably, multiple types of viewership, so, from a car and also as you're walking. For design criteria, we have 4 different parts of that. We have quality, authenticity, community, and other considerations. And these are all pretty basic, just the public art should be really high quality, it should have enduring value, we should be looking at an artist's experience, it should all be original, it should all match the community and feel of the community, obviously be appropriate for all audiences, not be partisan, not have any, stuff that we don't want kids to see, all that fun stuff. And then another interesting thing that we looked at as we were looking at other cities is safety as a design criteria, which you don't have to think about with a mural. I think those are pretty darn safe, but when you're looking at sculpture and stuff like that, you have to consider that, could a kid get hurt if they're, misusing something? And then the final part of the public art guidelines is just looking at maintenance, if we're adding stuff other than sculpture, what would be the repair costs, and that should be taken into account when choosing future proposals. Yeah, does anyone have any questions?
Any questions for the new Meggie / current Moira?
Moira, first of all, welcome. Glad to meet you. I was actually just wondering about the maintenance. And this is more of how is it handled. I'm assuming it's probably not written into this. But who is required to do the maintenance? Is that a city requirement or would that be an artist requirement?
That would be a city requirement, yeah. Okay. So we would require pretty much a section or consideration within an artist proposal for them to say a maintenance schedule, when would it need maintenance, what would that look like, what do you think the costs would be like? And then we would consider that in choosing the art piece.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
My only thought is also welcome. I won't even ask the question I normally ask new people. Because normally I ask if you're a Utah or BYU fan, but I feel like we're past that. It's usually in like the meeting you phase. So you have appropriate for all ages, right? That to me, I'm an attorney during the day, and that feels like a dangerous thing to say, right? Because a lot of people can decide what appropriate sort of means, right? Did you have a question, Dustin?
No, I was one of the,
I was like, I said, let me order, and you raised your hand, so I was like, okay, go ahead, Dustin, please describe what that means. So I know we have sort of community standards or something built into the murals, right? I wonder if we just call it that, applies to the community standards, because I just see be appropriate for all audiences, and we have a lot of people in this community with a lot of opinions on what that means, and yeah, so I don't want it to end up being just we can have a giant orb or a giant ball, and that's about the level without offending someone, right? So I don't know if that's necessarily built into this, but when I saw that, it made me go, the value of art is sometimes challenging people's opinions and thoughts, right? We don't necessarily want to get into the other ones you talked about, like politics or sexual or religious content, but I just want to make sure we're not hindering ourselves too much with maybe some thought-provoking pieces or something like that.
Absolutely, if I could respond. We tried to keep it open enough to leave a lot of wiggle room. So, artistic expression is important. That's the whole point of public art. We just want to make sure that it's not, offensive material. And this is to be used in guiding artists as they choose their artwork, to guide us as we choose the artwork that moves forward in the public art guidelines. So, yeah, I don't think the purpose of this is to limit what artistic expression is allowed other than, general appropriateness. And we did take a lot of the language there specifically from Park City, who has a pretty robust public art program.
Okay.
Any other questions for Moira? I know you may not have been here, well, you weren't here, I do know that for a fact, but, I think the questions Bryant has, or Councilmember Brown, sorry, were specifically, we had a little dust up with some folks who thought a mural was not appropriate, and they made it very well known to us at the time. So just want to make sure that we're not making it easier for that to happen, but also there is legitimate times where people could come out and say, hey, you guys missed something on this. So I think we just want to make sure that we're not putting ourselves in a tough spot on that one. So, any other comments or questions? There's a motion to consider.
Mayor, go ahead.
Sorry, I move that we suspend we're really excited about art. I move that we suspend the rules and pass resolution number 2025-R-51 approving adoption of the Midvale City Public Arts Guidelines.
Second.
Really excited.
We have multiple motions, multiple seconds. I think we're good there. Charlie, will you call the yeas and nays?
Councilmember Mikulesh?
Yes.
Billings?
Yes.
Glover?
Aye.
Robinson?
Aye.
And Brown?
Yes.
Okay, that passes unanimously. Next action item, consider resolution number 2025-R52, approving amendment to program year 2024 I always mess that up, and I knew I was going to. CDBG subrecipient agreement between Salt Lake County and Midvale City. Moira.
Perfect. So just a little bit of context. Midvale, we of course have our home repair loan program that provides loans of up to $15,000 to individuals making 80% average monthly income or below, and these are 5-year forgivable interest-free loans. So it's really, really nice. To date, we've helped 11 households with home repairs since the program started in 2023, so we're very happy about that. You may have also noticed we've sent out 2 rounds of postcards to every household in Midvale to tell them about this program, and we've gotten some interest from those, so we're very happy. This program is funded through CDBG grants, Community Development Block Grants, through Salt Lake County. So last program year, we received a total of $196,876 from the county in CDBG. We have not, due to contract delays, we have not spent the last $34,000 and some change of it. So this amendment is to give us some extra time to spend that down before December 31st of this year. Just as a primer, we have been awarded more money. We're waiting on the contracts for that from the county. So this is so we have, before we get the next contract with more money, we want to be able to spend down last program year's money. Oh, and the reason that we must suspend the rules on this one is because the county really wants us to sign this.
That's as good of a reason as any. Any questions for Moira? Okay, thank you. There's a motion on the board.
Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules and pass resolution number 2025-R-52, authorizing the mayor to amend an agreement with Salt Lake County for community development block grant funds to support the redevelopment agency's home repair loan program.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Charlie, will you call the roll?
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Mikulesh?
Yes.
Billings?
Yes.
Glover?
Aye.
And Robinson?
Aye.
Okay, that passes unanimously. It is a wonderful program. I know we've kept people in their homes by offering this money to them, folks who would not be able to repair their homes otherwise and would have to sell them. So it's a great program to keep going. Next up, action item C, consider resolution number 2025-R31, adopting updates to the board and committee assignments for Midvale City. And here to talk about the car show is Matt Dahl.
I was going to make a similar joke.
Sorry.
Wow. I guess I can still make it. Back in around May, I came to you
with some proposed modifications to the boards and committees list that we keep tabs on, showing who will be in representing Midvale on the different boards and committees that we're participants on. At that time, the changes that we were making were based off of the retirement of our city engineer, and then also knowing that Kane Loader would be ending his tenure as our representative on the Trans-Jordan Board. The updates in this list reflect all of the changes that we had discussed in May. And then also, one note is that when I made that presentation, it was a slightly out-of-date one that didn't include, for example, Councilmember Mikulash on there, even though she had been put on one. This has that included in it, and it just has those adjustments with regards to Kane and Keith. Generally speaking, the replacements in all of those positions are either Brandon Anderson, our new city engineer, or Glenn Kennedy, who has been on those boards before. Does anyone have any questions about this list? And if not, the proposed motion is on the memo.
Any questions for Matt? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Mayor, I move that we approve Resolution 2025-R-31, adopting updates to the board and committee assignments for Midvale City.
Second?
Okay, motion and a second. Charlie, will you call the yeses and nos?
Councilmember Billings,
Yes.
Glover,
Aye.
Robinson,
Aye.
Brown,
Yes.
and Mikulash.
Yes.
Okay, that passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Moving on to action item D, consider resolution number 2025-R49, approving the Midvale Canal Trail Design Agreement Amendment with Consor North America, Inc. for final design of the Jordan and Salt Lake City Canal. Adam.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'll just give you a brief background as to how we got to where we are today. So in 2023, we completed a canal trail feasibility study. And as part of that study, a recommended phase one was to do final design and then construction on the canal trail from 7500 South to 7800 South along the Jordan and Salt Lake Canal, which is adjacent to Mid-Valley Elementary. This was chosen as a phase one just because it had a lot of impact, and this could be a great kickoff for the entire trail system. So we did receive grant funding to design and construct phase one. However, due to some issues that we've run into with the Salt Lake City Public Utilities, we've kind of stalled out on kind of finishing the implementation of phase one. However, we still have the grant funding, and what we'd like to do is expand that grant funding to do more design work along the entirety of the canal, so that when we are able to cross these hurdles, we'll have basically a more shovel-ready design or a shovel-ready project to move forward with. And then we can continue to go after grant funding for that construction. But we thought, let's make use of the funds we have, and if we can do more design work and just move forward. The canal trail system that we're talking about is the one in green, or the one further west, that really runs the entirety of Midvale from I-215 on the northern border to Sandy on the southern border. And phase one, I don't want to do something wrong. For those of you that can see, phase one would have been basically in this area. And so what we'd like to do now is just expand that north and south, and this amendment to the agreement does that. And with that, there is a motion for your consideration.
Thank you, Adam. Any questions for Adam? Okay, there's the motion.
Mayor, I move that we approve resolution number 2025-R-49, approving the Midvale Canal Trail Design Agreement Amendment to the Midvale Canal Trail Design Agreement with Consor North America, Inc. for final design of the Jordan and Salt Lake City Canal.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Charlie, will you call the yeas and nays?
Councilmember Glover,
Aye.
Robinson,
Aye.
Brown,
Yes.
Mikulash,
Yes.
and Billings.
Yes.
Okay, that passes unanimously. Moving on to action item E, consider resolution number 2025 R50, authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement, station area plan, technical assistant consultant agreement with Wasatch Front Regional Council for the Fashion Place West Station Area Plan. Adam.
Thank you, Mayor. You may be wondering, why are we doing a station area plan for the Fashion Place West Station? The reason is because part of it overlaps into our city boundaries, and because of the House bill that was passed a few years ago, we do have to have a station area plan, even for areas of our city that lie within that radius. And on this map behind you, sorry, I don't mean to, it's just this small area right here that we're looking at, and we are partnering with Murray City. Part of this plan, Murray is also going to finish their little area that should have been in our Fort Union station area that it's such a small sliver, but that will encompass that.
This is silly, I will say that, but.
It is what it is. So anyway, we are working with Wasatch Front Regional Council and Murray City to joint kind of plan this. The plan is underway. We're just looking for authorization or for the mayor's signature to continue forward with this. This station area plan will likely be done well before the end of the year. It will come back before you for our little portion within Midvale. And I can tell you that we are going to ensure that it matches up with what the Fort Union station area plan called for, which is redevelopment opportunities with mixed use, whether that be commercial and or residential. And Murray's in support of that. Even to the north, they would like to see some additional mixed use go in there, maybe not to the intensity that we've envisioned further south, but they are on board that they realize that some redevelopment is probably good for this area. This will also go before the state for certification, and then I believe we are probably done with all of our station area plans. We do have a tiny segment of one that overlaps from Sandy that is not even a portion of 3 parcels, and so what I'm going to attempt for that is bringing a resolution forward that basically exempts us from that, the tiniest of portions. Again, it's just part of the House bill that was done a while back.
But isn't that Murray section into ours that small as well?
It is, but because this plan already is there,
Okay.
I mean, if it was independent of, I mean, if this plan didn't exist, they would likely do the same.
I got you, okay.
Yeah, but our portion that has the Sandy overlap is just as small, if not smaller, but we'll address it. We'll do what we need to. So with that, there is a motion for your consideration. I will just let you know, there is no financial obligation on our end. WFRC is covering this 100%, so there's no match.
Thank you, Adam. And as one who sits on the board of the WFRC, these do come to us for like kind of a final approval, but once they've been approved by the cities and the states, it's just kind of a formality at that point. But I think to my knowledge, we have two stationary plans that are our own, and then we have the one that's kind of with West Jordan now, and one that's kind of with Murray, and now one that's kind of with Sandy.
Yeah, we did partner with West Jordan on the Bingham Junction, and then also their historic Gardner, because both of those overlapped. And so we did a joint application with West Jordan, and those have been approved and certified, and they're good to go.
So they were okay with the Gardner, like having those acre lots or whatever?
It wasn't quite that in the end. It was a little more intense in the end, but yes, West Jordan was pretty insistent that that be a little lower density because of where it sits, but it did also encompass areas of higher density around their city center station, which is out
on the
towards
Redwood. I mean, that one just seemed like the perfect place to have the most dense one, so I was really confused because I drove by, there's just not a lot of impact, and it felt kind of unfair between the two cities, but they did increase it a little bit then.
Yeah. In the end, it was it wasn't everything that West Jordan wanted, but I mean, they were still able to approve it in the end.
Okay, thank you, Adam, and there's a motion for council.
Mayor, I move that we approve resolution number 2025-R-50, authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Wasatch Front Regional Council for the Fashion Place West Station Area Plan.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Charlie, will you call the yeas and nays?
Councilmember Robinson?
Aye.
Brown,
Yes.
Micolash,
Yes.
Billings,
Yes.
and Glover.
Aye.
Okay, that passes unanimously. Moving on to action item F. Consider resolution number 2025 R45 approving a contract with Nolan and Son Construction Company, Inc. for the execution of the 2025 sewer rehabilitation project. And to talk about that, Brandon Anderson. Welcome, Brandon.
Thanks, Mayor. Oh, thank you. So, as you can see, we've worked on, with the city, going through a sewer master sewer plan. This is, of that plan, we've developed certain areas that were more critical than others. You can see them on your screen. You're probably a little more familiar with the streets than I am at this point, but I'll get there, I'll get caught up. With that, it was to help fix aging infrastructure, non-proper flows, and just deterioration of the bottoms or tops of the pipe that are out there and manholes. It approximately has 3,200 feet to remove and replace of 10 and 8 inch, and then about 7,000 feet of 8 inch. And it's cured in place pipe, if you're wondering on the CIPP, I missed that one up on there, but 175 feet of the 10 inch. We are redoing new manholes where we need to, reconnecting all the laterals that are there, and then other materials to make that a fully functioning system. The funds are coming from a city bonding that we've done, and then the utility fees are a small portion of this.
I have like a really random question with this. Sorry, I thought you were done. I'll let you keep going when you're done.
I was just going to go the motion part, so go ahead.
So the gas company has been in our neighborhood, and they keep saying, and they're like, they don't tell anybody, and then they're like, start digging up the road, and then we go ask them. Well, one was next to my house, one was down the street down, and they're saying anywhere where the gas crosses over your city water or sewer, they're supposed to be like insulated, and so I don't know if they're like doing some survey, right? But it's made a lot of people nervous because of some recent homes that have exploded, from the gas company. When we're doing these things, I'm sure the answer is sort of yes, but now I'm getting asked, like when we're doing these things, if we cross the gas company lines, right, if you're doing something, are we also then making sure it's insulated? Because again, the gas company is being not helpful. Does it make sense? Like anytime that these pipes are crossing, they're told the gas are now supposed to be insulated, but instead they just scare everyone because they just paint your whole yard, then dig up the road, and they don't tell you. So we're like, oh, did someone think that our home might be the next home that's gonna, blow up? But so when we're doing them, if there's crossing, like, are we working with the gas company? They just seemed like no one's working with anyone. It was a really weird convo when I had like a week ago.
Yeah, so we do work with any utilities that were around there, and usually the sewer is lower than the rest of them.
Okay.
For that specific reason, and we try to have spacing in between the pipes and a buffer for that not to happen. And so some of the things that we do see, like when they're out fixing pipes, is they've had a leak, and so they're out there as soon as possible. Sometimes they're out there before I even sign a permit for them to be out there because it's an emergency situation, and we let them go, and we come by and try to check on those as much as possible with our inspections that go on daily when we're here. So
Okay, it just seems so random. Like it wasn't a leak or something, and so if we're doing things, it wasn't like they necessarily threw the city under the bus, but they were kind of like, oh, water crosses here. This should have been insulated, and I was like, whatever, maybe just be a little more kind of upfront with the purpose here. So I said I'd pass it along.
Okay, thanks. Glenn, did you want to comment any more on that? Okay.
Okay, any other questions for Brandon? All right, there is a motion for the council to consider.
Yeah, if not, I'll entertain a motion there.
Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules and approve resolution number 2025-R-45, approving a contract with Nolan and Son Construction Company, Inc. for the execution of the 2025 sewer rehabilitation project. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a very quick second. Charlie, will you call the roll?
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Micolash,
Yes.
Billings,
Yes.
Glover,
Aye.
and Robinson.
Aye.
Okay, that passes unanimously. Thank you, Brandon. Moving on to action item G, you'll be happy to note that there was a change in the agreement earlier today, so we are going to request a motion from council to table this item until our next meeting, which will be September 16th.
Mayor, I move that we table resolution number 2025-R-53 for the next city council meeting.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Do we need a roll call for that?
Ms. Garrett,
May as well. Yes, let's do a roll call. Charlie?
Councilmember Robinson,
Aye.
Brown,
Yes.
Micolash,
Yes.
Billings,
Yes.
and Glover.
Aye.
Okay, that is tabled until 9:16. We do not have a closed session tonight, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor of adjournment say aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. And we are back. As the redevelopment agency of Midvale City, good to go? Okay. Welcome everyone to the redevelopment agency of Midvale City meeting, September 2nd, 2025. We will start with a roll call.
Councilmember Billings,
Here.
Glover,
Here.
Robinson,
Here.
Brown,
Here.
Micolash,
Here.
Okay, all board members are present. Moving on to public comments. I see no one from the public remaining, but I will just ask if there's anyone from the public who would like to comment on any item not scheduled for public hearing. It'd be weird if someone came in and
They could talk about the car show.
good. Matt? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We have one item. Consider the minutes of August 5th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve the consent
Mayor,
agenda?
I motion we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
A motion and a second. Charlie, will you call the roll?
Board Member Brown,
Here.
Micolash,
Yes, we're on yes.
Yes. Yes, right, yes.
Glover,
Aye.
Billings,
Yes.
and Robinson.
Aye.
Okay, that passes unanimously, I think. We'll have to review that later. Voting here actually means voting no, I believe, but.
Oh, yeah, it's president,
Yeah.
right? That's, yeah. My
so-
vote's yes.
Yes, okay, unanimous on the consent agenda, as it should be. Moving on, we have a few action items today. First one, consider resolution number 2025-07 RDA, approving amendments to the Midvale Maine Business Loan Program, and joining us, recently returned from Nashville, Tennessee, is Aubrey.
Howdy. Just kidding.
See what you did there.
Yes. Also super bummed because I was here to talk about the car show.
She really was, though.
It's never Anyways, good evening, board. Chair. Okay. So, there's really just some minor changes here going through the Midvale Maine Business Loan Program. The amendments are really just to clarify things for the applicants. Going through the applications that we've received in the past, it just wasn't super clear. There was a wide range of collateral. It was between 60 and 80% of the requested loan amount, and the committee and the agency staff have really just been leaning towards more coverage, and then also a greater insight into the background of the owners and managers of the business that's applying, just to make sure that we're safeguarding public funds. There's been no, criminal activity to do with fraud or anything like that. So this is just a breakdown saying that we're changing the minimum collateral to be 80% of the requested loan amount. To the state, the agency just hasn't really felt comfortable doing less than that. And then, if we have to work through things with people to lower the requested loan amount to meet that percentage, we kind of do that as well.
We also clarified the collateral categories in the application. Things like vehicles were mentioned, trailers, RVs, things, that depreciate quicker in value. They're harder to monitor if people are doing proper maintenance and things like that. So it's just a lot harder for us to get the value of things like that. And then as far as the background checks, it's just a criminal history report from the BCI. And it used to be just owners, but we're just adding the managers to it to make sure, people dealing with operations are included in that. There's no fiscal impact in relation to these amendments, and if you have any questions, otherwise the motion is in the packet.
Okay, thank you, Aubrey. Any questions from council? Okay, there's a motion to consider.
Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules and adopt resolution number 2025-07 RDA, approving amendments to the Midvale Maine Business Loan Program.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. And Charlie, will you call the yeas and nays?
Board Member Robinson?
Aye.
Mikuláš?
Yes.
Glover?
Aye.
Billings?
Yes.
And Brown?
Yes.
Okay, that passes unanimously. Moving on to action item B, consider resolution number 2025-08 RDA, approving the Midvale Maine Adaptive Reuse Loan Program. Aubrey.
Okay, so this is a very similar program. Basically, the first one is kind of catered to business owners, whereas this one is catered to developers and property owners, just the difference in the loan program, really. So the only one changing in this specific program is the collateral requirement, which we're changing it to match the other business loan program, changing that range from 60 to 80% to a minimum of 80%. Same thing, none of these loans have been approved below the 80% collateral mark, and then clarifying the collateral categories as well. Of course, the options, for collateral can be reviewed, and then anytime there is a loan request over $25,000, it will come to you for your review, so you guys will always, get to review and have a say in how comfortable you are with that. And then same thing, no fiscal impact here, just the collateral amendments, and the motion is in the packet as well.
Okay, thank you, Aubrey. Any questions from council? Is there a motion?
Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules and adopt resolution number 2025-08 RDA, approving amendments to the Midvale Maine Adaptive Reuse Loan Program.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Charlie, will you call the yeas and nays?
Board Member Billings?
Yes.
Robinson?
Aye.
Glover?
Aye.
Brown?
Yes.
And Mikuláš?
Yes.
Okay, that passes unanimously. Moving on to our final action item of the evening, consider resolution number 2025-09 RDA, approving change order number 1 in relation to the design build agreement with Mountain States Lighting. Kate.
Yes, thank you, Chair, and thank you, Board. So just some background on this. As you all know, back in March, on March 26, 2024, we awarded the contract for the plaza agreement to J-Line Roberts and Sons. The scope of that contract was both the South and North Plaza and Holden Street, as well as the stretch along Main Street there. That did include the installation of 4 streetlights. Shortly after, however, we awarded a contract with Mountain States Lighting to design and install the remaining streetlights and to install festival lighting down the remainder of Main Street. So with that in mind, we wanted to ensure that there was a cohesive design of all of the lights along Main Street. So the RDA coordinated with JLR to have Mountain States Lighting do the design and install of those streetlights on North Main. As a result, JLR has issued the RDA a credit for the 4 streetlights that they would have put in as part of their scope. And then Mountain States Lighting has submitted a change order. This change order was actually to install 5 streetlights under their contract, and that's because there's that one at that very north end that we wanted to make sure goes in, as it's kind of like the turn onto Main Street. So that was one that we had kind of thought about after the fact. So this change order does require RDA board approval as it exceeds the $100,000 threshold. So if approved, the change order will increase the overall budget for the Main Street lighting design build contract by $117,800, raising the total costs from $1,152,000 to $1,270,000. The funding that will be used to pay for these lights will come from the Bingham Junction project area, as the improvements made to the plaza and the City Hall campus as a whole provides a direct benefit to the Bingham Junction area. Any questions?
I weirdly have a question.
Yes.
The lights that are in front of the building that's being built right now, right?
Yes.
Will we have to do another change order, or has that already been paid for?
So we haven't paid for it, but those are included in the original budget.
So we won't have to do a change order?
No, so there won't be a change order for that.
Okay.
They are just waiting until we are positive that there won't be heavy construction equipment going along the sidewalk there, because we don't want them to damage the new street lights, so.
So I think that's smart and generally agree, but if they have some kind of hang up, we have to get those in before the Christmas light up and stuff, I feel like, and this fall. So if for some reason that's not, I think we need to put them in like by the end of October or something like that, and tell them to not damage our lights.
Yeah, I believe they're getting close to we're waiting for them to put up the actual facade on that Main Street side, and they were getting close to doing that.
Yeah, they've been doing the test bricks, if you see across the street, those are the test bricks for, that building will actually have 3 different facades, so it looks like 3 different buildings, even though it's one.
Yeah.
So they've been getting closer and closer to that. I don't know exactly when that's gonna be. The good news is that they did put those lights, the poles go up, but there's a lot of underground work and boxes for every single one of those lights. The boxes and the underground work are already in.
Okay.
So all that really needs to be done is put the foundation with the footings and then put the light, then just basically install the lights. And the lights are done and they're just in their yard.
Yeah.
So it should be fairly quick. We had thought about doing it before, but they're gonna redo that entire sidewalk. They're gonna pull the sidewalk all out. So if you've noticed, it's like the sidewalk looks pretty good, but you can tell where we've had to do a lot of work on that sidewalk over the years, and the lights definitely added to that. So this will be nice that it'll have a nice, clean, uniform sidewalk. And then the other part of it is, it's not only just that they're putting up the facade, but their construction trailer is right there, and that's kind of a hassle to move that. But all that said, if we want to put a priority on it, we could always do that. I mean, we've always told them, I mean, there was a point when we were about ready to just do it. So if that's a priority for council, we can talk
Well, and
about that.
I believe they're hoping for occupancy this fall, and I mean, whether or not it's a little bit after, we can certainly talk to them about prioritizing getting that front facade on so that we can get those lights in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to like move tomorrow on it, right? But I do want it in there. In my opinion, we should have it sort of.
Yeah, a complete street.
Yeah, when we're doing the Christmas lighting
I
thing
agree.
again. That's, I don't know if the council feels the same way. Like, let's wait as long as possible, but, that's what I think we should do.
Yeah. And Mount States Lighting is ready to go. I mean, we met with them last Thursday, and he was asking when we thought that would be ready to go in, because he's ready at any time to get that installed.
Would the plan also to have the sidewalk completed by this fall/winter? Because I think that's important too. I mean, there's so many of us who like walk up and down, there's that part, you either have to cross or, I kind of risk it and walk as close to the fence as possible. I mean, but that's not an ideal.
I would imagine as part of the whole project,
if they're going to open, probably.
They would have that sidewalk done.
Yeah, I mean, there is a safety concern. They have to have the construction fence a certain amount away from the construction site itself, so we don't. And that building is right on the property line, so it's basically on the sidewalk. So
it's balancing safety and the timing of their project. They're moving fast, they're on schedule. So we'll talk with them, try to coordinate everything out, and then bring an update to the council.
Sounds good. Any other questions for Kate? There's a motion on the board.
Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules and adopt resolution number 2025-09 RDA approving change order number 1 related to the design build agreement with Mountain States Lighting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Charlie, will you call the roll?
Board Member Micolash?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Glover?
Aye.
Billings?
Yes.
And Robinson?
Aye.
Okay, that passes unanimously. Thank you,
Thank you.
Kate. We do not have a possible closed session tonight, so we'll move on. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Yes.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Have a good night, everyone.